All
All
right.
right, girl dilemma.
Tasha's putting in her rat tail there, her little fake hairpiece.
I'm
Oh,
trying for all of you.
okay. Wait, she's here, so I'll just.
Okay,
Oh, okay. You gotta
I mean we're going with it.
get the rat's tail in place. Okay. She there? Hello. Hello. Oh, there she is.
Hear me?
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, Lina.
Hi.
Here,
How are
let
you
me just.
doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I don't have a cool backdrop like you guys do.
Well, no, we're joking because sometimes we have these, these backgrounds, but it's weird because they like take away your hair and like they make you
Yeah,
look like
Yeah, like my head is like
a pinhead or like a
I love
seal.
it.
You're like a seal over there, Tosh. Yeah, I can
yeah.
see a little hair
Oh,
now.
there's my pin, the weirdly misshapen head. So
Anywho,
weird.
I appreciate that.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, and Lena also, well, first of all, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. Good to see
Um,
you virtually. Good to virtually meet you.
Yes, and I actually obviously haven't. Tosh was the one to reach out to you, but I haven't met you, so welcome and thank you for doing this.
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
You guys do. I haven't really looked into like how many episodes you guys have done. Have you done this for a long time now?
Almost a year, right, Neely? We're
Yeah, well,
coming
this
on a
is
year.
season two.
Yeah.
So we probably have about 23 episodes around that so far.
Congrats. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
been really
Yeah,
fun.
it's been really fun. It's been really fun. I'm
Yeah.
learning a lot, Lena, a lot.
Yeah. Love it. I love it.
All right, take it away, Tosh.
All right. Let me get myself settled. Lena, welcome to the Real Housewives of Pickleball. Um, I have been so excited to talk to you. I've been an OG fan watching you play since 2022 on the Pro Tour. I'm kind of a pickleball nerd. I think I'm in good company. And I wanted to congratulate you. Your son is now 6 years old. And then also your new MLP team, the Fives.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about this year. I think it's like a full, circle moment where I started my Major League Pickleball journey on the fives in 2022. If you've been following me for a while. So I debuted in Major League Pickleball at the Austin MLP in 2022. And I get to play for the fives again in 2026. And what a blessing. Like, never thought that would happen again. So just a lot of things to be grateful for.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Lena, take us back because you're one of many pickleball players who had a background, a high level background in tennis. So I was
Mhm.
reading a little bit about your background, but take us back to college tennis, and then did you think about doing a stint on the pro tour, or when you graduated, you really knew like you wanted to go into? I know you have a degree in physical therapy, so what was that journey like?
I love that question. I think, it's such a personal decision for a lot of us. But basically, I grew up in Lithuania playing tennis, going to a regular school. I was kind of this child that, got good grades, did well in tennis. I was fortunate enough to travel on the ITF tour, which is International Tennis Federation. So I played on the junior circuit a lot. I came into the US. I was 18 years old, played at UT for 4 years. So a lot of times when you think about the pro journey, you also consider that before college, not just after college. Because when you're 18, a lot of times that's when you start making the push for the pro tour versus going to college. And with the NCAA rules, you kind of had to choose one or the other. A lot of times they didn't really like that you would, go out on the pro tour for a long time and then try to play college sports. You can always go back to college, but maybe not on a scholarship necessarily.
Right, right.
So when I was 17, 18, I knew I wanted to continue in academics. I was smart, and I think I still am smart. Um, and I just kind of thought about, risk and reward. My parents have already poured so much into me to be where I'm at, where I was at the time. And a degree sounded like a more secure route. And I still could compete in college. So that sounded amazing. So I pursued that route. Then after 4 years of the University of Texas at Austin, played great, had a couple Big 12 championship titles, loved doing what I was doing, but again, got good grades. So then I was able to secure more scholarships. So then I was like, well, I need to take this opportunity. So I have to go to graduate school.
Hmm.
So it's, and I think a little bit differently because, I am foreign, I'm Lithuanian. So when you come here to the United States, you look at certain opportunities differently. So I felt like if I had funding for graduate school, I had to take that opportunity because, maybe it's not going to be there in a couple years. And with pro tennis, it's honestly amazing, but the percentages of people who make it to make a living from it
Yeah.
are still low. I don't
You
know
know
the
what?
exact.
There was something just out on Instagram. Some guy, I think it was Jamie Onson's.
Mhm.
Is that the way you pronounce his first name, or is it Jaime?
Jaime?
Jaime.
Mhm.
He posted something that the chance of becoming a professional tennis player, and then it was all the different sports, was one in, I don't know, it was like 0.00001%.
Yes.
Which is
Yes.
probably
And that's
similar for a lot of professional sports. It just dwindles down to small, small numbers.
I think yes, but I don't know if it's smaller for individual sports than team
Mm.
sports. I would be
Mhm.
curious to look at those statistics because basically in tennis, you're not going to be making money if you're not in the top 100 in the world.
Right,
So, and to get to the top 100 in the world, you'll have to spend a bunch of money to get there. And that's not
Right.
guaranteed, even if you have money,
right.
right? So, in Lithuania, where I was growing up, our top female player was kind of like, reached 200-ish ranking. And I knew she wasn't going to make it, financially. Like she kind of pivoted later on in her life. She's super successful right now. But I think, as you grow up, you have these sort of role models in your country or somebody you look up to. And maybe that also kind of gives you like the idea of maybe what your path would be looking like.
Right.
We had Richard Esberankis, who was one of the, pro tennis players. He just retired from his pro career. So um, he definitely had a successful career. But again, it's like one in, how many. So
Right.
I took my
Right.
chances in academics, and I'm super glad that I made that decision. I earned my physical therapist degree. I practiced physical therapy for a couple years.
Yeah. Can I
And
ask, Lena, like when you graduated and you had been on this successful college team, and I played high level tennis myself, I was Division 3, so like kind of nowhere near your level, but we were still, very good, top in the nation. But I
for sure.
remember after graduating, feeling a sense of like, tennis was kind of my identity. And then
Mhm.
going from competing and competing with a team and then kind of having nothing. I mean, you could play in leagues and tournaments and the USTA tournaments and whatnot, but it just wasn't the same. Did you struggle with sort of feeling like you had lost a little piece of yourself? And I guess that ties into eventually, pickleball has given us, many of us, second chances.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting that you bring up the identity point because I've been kind of thinking about that, how I tie my identity to what I do, right? So in certain chapters of my life, I'd be like, hey, I'm Lina, the tennis player. Or like I'm not necessarily saying that, but that's how I perceive myself. Or like I'm Lina, the
Well,
physical
that's your
therapist.
life probably also. You're probably
Yeah.
so every
Yeah.
day is about tennis, one way or
Yeah.
another.
So, but to kind of go back to your point, I just feel like I had no downtime to be depressed. I know that sounds really bad, but it's one of those things. If you keep yourself busy and you have new goals to work towards, I had no time to think about like missing something because I graduated from the University of Texas mid-May in 2015. And June 1st, I started a doctorate of physical therapy program at Texas State University. So I had 2 weeks to just relocate myself.
Yeah.
And I had classes from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. because we had these labs that we had to do. So the days were actually really long. And the only thing I could think about, I was like, oh, you know what? It's good that I don't have to like travel to the tournaments right now because how could I do this program if I still had to, travel to all these tournaments and
Right, right.
play?
Impossible.
So I think for the first 6 months in my graduate program, I was actually totally fine without doing like high, competitive sports. I was just kind of being like a regular student, 8 to 5. I was studying and then I was working out. Everybody thought it was a hard program, and I think it was. But for me, I was like, I have so much time. The weekends are mine. I can do whatever I want. And I was working out and I was coaching tennis a little bit on the side. And then a year into the program, I missed it. I missed it so much. I was like, I have to get back to competing. I think there was like the lack of adrenaline hit me.
Yeah.
And I started training in tennis again, and I went and played a couple 25Ks, 15Ks. There are some in Oklahoma.
Mhm.
I just remember like just getting in the car and driving to play the qualifiers again, and I got a couple wins in the qualifying draws. But I thought it was just like such a fun experience to just kind of be motivated again to do it for myself. Nobody told me, I had to do it again, but
Right.
I
Right.
wanted to come back into it. So I started competing in tennis again and just kind of playing there would be some like little like, UTR tournaments like, or like local prize money tournaments for tennis. So I started doing those again in physical therapy school.
Wow. Wow.
And you must feel like you're in really good company because there's a lot of those stories on the PPA tour, even APP, like all of pickleball. A lot of previous athletes, whether in college or they had chosen to further their career or to try to further their career to get into professional tennis, and
Mhm.
now they're finding something that they feel that they've been missing with pickleball.
Yeah.
And when I was reading, you found pickleball during the pandemic, like many of
Hmm.
us. That was, I always joke like that was the one good thing to come out of that plague was, I don't, 70% of the nation found pickleball during that time or
Except
something.
me, I didn't.
Oh, you
Where
did?
was I?
Oh, I don't know. Okay,
I
so
was
was it after that?
after. I was
Oh, okay. All
after.
right. Well, um,
Wah, wah.
yeah, but so and then I was reading your first tournament you took, it was a 5-0 singles and you took
Mhm.
gold and then silver in the
Yeah.
women's doubles, which is just incredible. So like at what point, so then probably you got hit by the bug, right? The pickleball bug, I like to call it. At what point did you kind of realize this could be more than just a really fun hobby for me?
Mhm. I think it's a continuum. It's not like maybe one moment, but found pickleball in 2020. I was pregnant. So I had my son in September of 2020. 2021, it was April, I think, that Mid-South regionals. My son was about, I don't know, 7 months old. And that was the first time he ever got sick. I took him to a tournament. So I felt mom guilt, starts right there, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, that actually is a question I want to get into a little bit down the road because that's one of the things I admire about you, especially, and any other women on the pro pickleball tour with kids, because there's a sacrifice, and as we all know, mom guilt is real. But anyways, go back to
yeah.
what you were saying, your story.
No, for sure. But yeah, 2021, April, I was just playing like amateur 5-0 winning. I was like, okay, this is great. But I'm very rational, I think, in my life. So I was like, okay, well, obviously, like I can't make a living playing pickleball. In 2021, I was thinking there's no way I could make a living doing this,
Mhm.
right? Because this just was an expensive, fun hobby that you spend money on to go to these tournaments.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And I was doing a little bit of kind of a home health physical therapy at the time and coaching tennis and starting to coach a little bit of pickleball. And then in 2022, I was like, you know what? I could maybe be good at this. I went an APP, I think it was in Plantation. I think it was maybe March of 2022. I think my son was a year and a half. And it was I guess, a pivotal moment in my mom brain because I stopped nursing him then. And I left him for the first time to go to that tournament. And I medaled with Cassandra Gerke
Oh
at the
yeah.
time in women's doubles. And I just remember, I think that was the time when I was like, okay, I'm getting a little bit of prize money. So, I could pay for my hotel.
Yeah.
And then I started networking with more paddle companies. I got my first paddle deal at the time. It was with Electrum.
Hmm.
It started making sense where I'm not lose like I know I won't lose money to go to tournaments. So that gave me a little bit more hope to train and kind of take a chance on myself and see if I could do better. And then Major League Pickleball popped up, and that was an amazing opportunity. I love the team events. And then the PPA offered me kind of a full-time contract in 2023. So I've been on the PPA tour since 2023, and again, very grateful for the opportunities. And I think maybe that pivotal moment was that APP plantation, when I got on the medal stand with Cassandra Gerke. And I was
Wow.
thinking like maybe this is something that I could do more full time or just see how it goes and take a chance on myself and maybe be flexible in my home health physical therapy gig while I'm home and coach a little bit and see if I could make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Yeah.
Amazing. So, can I switch gears a little bit and talk about motherhood? So
Yeah.
how's your son doing?
He's doing amazing. So he's going to turn 6 in September.
Yeah.
And he spends a lot of time in Lithuania over the summer. So he's looking forward to spend some time with the grandparents.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
But he's doing really well. He's bilingual. I only speak Lithuanian to him. I'm one of those moms.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's
um,
so great. I wish I'm so lame. Like I only know English. Tosh, do you know any other sports? Or sorry, sports, languages?
Spanish.
Oh,
Spanish, yeah.
are you fluent? Oh, I didn't know that.
For the Spanish population out there listening, I'm gringa Spanish.
Okay, got it.
I
Well,
love it.
yeah, okay.
So
I love
I saw that you have been posted some with your son, and you took him recently to a tournament.
it.
Can you talk about that? Like, how was that, logistics,
Yeah.
and how did you manage, focusing on him being present, but then
Mhm.
also having to switch gears and getting into tournament prep, tournament mode?
hmm I think it takes a lot of the brain power, but I've done this for a couple years now. So I take him, if I play 2 to 3 tournaments a month, I at least take him to one, maybe to two. It just depends on the kind of circumstances. Because now I have a reliable nanny at home. But when he was smaller and couldn't talk or just, was kind of more dependent, I really didn't leave him overnight with anybody that wasn't a family member.
Hmm.
Um, so I think right now the tournament routine is I have this app and I don't have a referral code or anything, so I'm not, sponsored by this app,
Right, right,
but it's
right.
called Bambino app. And you
What's it
basically
called?
Bambino. I think it's like a child in Italian,
Okay.
Bambino.
Yeah.
So there's this Bambino app that I use. So I put in the tournament location. I kind of set it on my profile. This is going to be my address. So I either put it on the courts or the Airbnb where I'll be staying at. And I try to book the nannies out in advance. And it's hard sometimes because we don't know the schedule until the night before.
Right.
Or, so I try to just do my best guesstimate
Yeah.
of time of when I'll need childcare. And usually for the first day of the tournament, let's say it's a progressive draw, right? So I know I'll start on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I always book the nannies for the courts because I'm afraid of leaving him with strangers at the Airbnb.
Of
So
course.
then I meet these nannies off this app on the courts, and most of them have showed up. There was one time the nanny didn't show up, but then I scrambled and some players helped me out. Um, so then my
Which
son is
players? Which players helped you out?
Oh, Tammy is amazing. Tammy Emrich. She has Gabby, and they're similar age, my son and her, Gabby.
Oh,
So they're
wow.
good friends.
Perfect.
Yeah, so their whole family is just amazing.
I
But
mean, I love hearing these stories,
yeah,
because it's one thing to be in your 20s and you're
yeah,
single and you have no family, no husband, no kids, no,
yeah,
it's just you can fly by the seat of your pants. You
for
don't have
sure.
to organize anything ahead of time, really. Um,
Mhm.
but it's a whole other thing to be in your 30s and your 40s where you're, managing kids. And I don't know. I think it's incredible. Is there any, so you mentioned mom guilt before.
Yeah.
When do you feel it? Because I mean, obviously, I'm not a touring pro, but I go around to tournaments, and there
Mhm.
is a sense of guilt when I leave my two girls. I have a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old, because inevitably I'm going to miss some of their athletics. Uh,
Right.
and there is I think it's gotten better over time, but there's always that nagging sense of mom guilt. How do
For sure.
you experience it? How do you deal with it?
I think you just have to have some bigger goal or picture in mind and their purpose behind it and be very clear to your kids about, what you're doing and why you're doing it. My son by now knows it's my job
Right.
because so I have to tell him like I'm going to a tournament or, then he kind of knows by now where if we go to a tournament, the first question he asks like, "Mom, who's going to be with me today?" Because he knows there's going to be some new girl
Right.
watching him at the courts. He's like,
Yeah.
what's you know, and he'll tell me I liked her or I didn't like her.
Oh, it's so
So
cute.
he's very verbal and cute by now. But I think, just having that mindset of like, okay, this is my job, this is what mommy does, and this is what we have to do. And I think he feels very included in my journey. He's at the courts with me a lot and he gets to see me compete. He gets to see me do my routines. He loves going to the gym with me and like wants to do it all the time. He wants to mimic every exercise I do. And
Aw.
I think it's, it's mom guilt, but I think if you can kind of frame it to why you're doing it and how it might benefit your children too, and it's your outlet as well, right? So if
Hmm.
mom is happy, then kids are happy.
Yeah. Do you think dads feel, I don't think they
I was
experience
just
it in the,
thinking the same.
yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just maybe the nurturer in us as, the nature of being female. But I don't think the dads experience it to the same degree at all.
I'm not a dad, so I don't want to like talk kind of like negative about it, but I don't think it's to the same degree from kind of the talks that I've had. And I think it's like what people think about. It's like, or talk about the mental load because we manage like, all the schedules and routines and dentist appointments and, play dates and all the May events at school, like what is happening.
Right.
I think it's different. And I left my son's dad a couple years ago actually because we just, he had some issues that he couldn't work through, and now he's doing better. But I managed a
Good.
lot of this on my own, and honestly, I'm just really proud of how my son is doing with everything that he's been put through, and I'm just happy that he can come to the tournaments with me and see mama succeed.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you think, Lena, do you think, you look at Lee Waters and Anna Lee.
Mhm.
I just was watching something. Oh, Partners, on Partners, the
Yeah.
show on Amazon. I was watching Elise Jones. There was a little segment with her, and her daughter is, I think, 14, getting into the pro
Mhm.
scene. And her daughter said her biggest wish was to play with her mom someday. Obviously,
Yeah.
your son is only 5, but does he have any interest in pickleball? And maybe when he gets to a certain age, how old are you? You could do splitties or something. I don't know. Maybe play together.
No, that's a great question. I'm 33. He's gonna turn 6 this year.
Okay.
I think right now he used to see, I think right now he's starting to really like it. About a year ago, he just kind of saw pickleball as my job, and I would take him to the courts, but there was a lot of, I don't want to say disciplining around the courts, but it's like, okay, now it's mommy's practice. You can't run on the court, or hey, mommy needs to practice. So I didn't really necessarily pay that much attention to his pickleball development when he
Yep.
was 4 or 3.
Right.
But now when he comes home from school, he sees pickleballs at the house. He sees the paddle. He grabs it. He's like, "Mom, can you hit with me in the hallway? Can you hit with me outside?" So I see a lot of more interest in him in pickleball. But a couple months ago, he kind of made comments like, "Oh, yeah, pickleball is for girls. I'm going to be playing basketball or soccer." So I have no idea,
Who
but
knows? Who
he is
knows?
showing more and more interest, like just kind of like after school, just wants to hit the ball around. So
Yeah.
that's positive.
Yeah, for sure.
So I started to follow you, Lena, on Instagram, and I was just kind of, I don't want to call it stalking, but I started scrolling on your Instagram page. Just, I was interested in you and the stories that you were putting out there on your page. Um, some people call it branding. I don't like to call it branding because it's a real person behind,
Yeah.
the Instagram. Um, but a lot of what you talk about really like strikes a chord with me. It resonates deeply. And I have found through pickleball, and continue to find a new confidence within myself,
Mhm.
and identity through pickleball, but not just specifically with pickleball, right? Like
Mhm.
it just helps. It's almost like it's pickleball is the vehicle, and I am the driver of the
Right.
vehicle, and it has really helped me in a lot of ways to help further my personal growth. And I get that from some of your stories. Why would you think that that is, and maybe possibly maybe more for women than it is for men, that we're
Mhm.
finding all of this like goodness through
Mhm.
pickleball?
Mm.
I think the biggest thing is still community. I've met so many kind women, kind men, and just families through pickleball. On the pro tour is getting a little more cutthroat these days, so don't be fooled.
Is
But
it? Oh, we want to hear.
no, in general, when you start out pickleball, and like, most of the population that's playing pickleball is not going to be a pro player, right?
Sure.
So the most important is the community aspect of it. I think it's very inviting. I just remember taking my son to the courts. Everybody wanted to watch him while I could,
Right.
practice. And I'm like, who does that?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
just strange for me that there would be people who just don't know you. They just want to help or want to invite you into the game. Or and I think it's empowering for women to go out there, and honestly, you can pick up pickleball and start playing it. You don't have to be amazing, but you can start playing pretty soon after picking it up. You can start playing games, right? So you
Yeah.
already have an activity. I think, for a lot of us, it's like the dopamine and adrenaline. It has to do something with those brain neurotransmitters, because the happiness it brings, I think it helps our self-confidence and how we perceive ourselves, that we can work towards something and improve in, and then, be more joyful and happy in our homes. And I think it just kind of is a ripple effect, and it comes from, you know, physical activity, good mood, exercise, community, and just networking too. I have so many amazing clients, and kind and generous, and just the day-to-day talk is positive, and we're there for each other when somebody's going through a hard time. But it does feel like a little bit like a tighter community.
Yeah, I do. I feel like all my friends now are like mostly pickleball people. I don't, I mean, I am obsessed with the sport. But my in my spare time, that's who I want to be with, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So you're right. The community is a big part of it.
Hmm.
And I love that take that you just mentioned about how pickleball, yeah, it does do something for
Mhm.
the endorphins or whatever it is, those
Hmm.
chemicals in the brain and neurotransmitters throughout the body. And it's like I don't want to say it's like a dopamine rush, but it feels almost sometimes like a runner's high at
Yeah,
times.
for sure.
And that definitely helps because I will say I don't get it every time I play, but when I get it, it's like, yes,
Yeah, it's like no
this is
better feeling.
everything feels aligned in my life. This I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path, and I'm gonna just keep going.
But
Uh,
but Tosh, on the flip, that's a great point. On the flip side of that, like I posted a funny video about a good rec day versus a bad rec day, and I have a good rec day. I'm on top of the world.
yeah,
I'm on top of the world. Everything just seems brighter and lighter and more fun. And I have a day where I feel like I play like shit. It's
yeah,
like everything sucks,
right,
Yeah.
so the flip side of that sort of dopamine rush is the valleys, the peaks and valleys, but the valley part of it. And I know,
Yeah.
Lena, you're big on the mental side of things, and I'm sure that you had to bring a lot of that into your tennis career. Uh, Talk to us about the mental side of pickleball, because it isn't talked about as much as all of these Instagram influencers with the, 3 shots to take your game from 3-0 to 3-5. But there's not a lot of mental health, mental toughness talk.
Yeah.
What would you say percentage, what percentage is it physical, technical versus what percentage is pickleball at the highest levels, mental?
At the highest level, if you're talking about pro game, everybody has to have the physical kind of,
yeah,
component. And then I think what differentiates people is the mental plus that top physical.
Yeah.
But I think at the amateur level, I would say sometimes it's even more mental. I don't
Yeah.
know why I would think that, but there are just certain players that thrive under pressure, and then there are certain players that are amazing in practice. It used to be the same in tennis, so they would be hitting partners for the best pros in the world. They're
Right.
the best hitting partners. They could probably beat the number one in the world, but on the match situation, they crumble under pressure.
Mm.
And I've played with different partners. Some partners under pressure, they're like, I want to be in the firefight at 10-10-2 in the third set, and I want the ball, right?
Yeah.
And then there are certain players that are like, no, like you go take the ball, because I'm gonna like almost scooch out to the corner, and I hope they don't hit me the ball. Not
Yeah.
like that. I mean, it's like a
Right.
little
No,
bit,
I gotcha.
but I think it comes from maybe your upbringing and what you were looking for in pickleball. Like, are you really competitive, or you just want to have fun, or this or that? But at the end of the day, it's like knowing how to manage emotions first is like the positivity, right? So the mental toughness has to come from some kind of like confident and positive place, I think, because if you don't have confidence, it's really, really easy to spiral down. You miss one shot, then you're in your head. You're thinking, oh my God, they just know that I'm tight. You
Yeah.
get the second ding, you miss the second ding. You're like, oh my God, Now,
Right.
for sure, they know that I'm tight, and there's no way I can miss another dink, and then you miss another dink, and then you're just like all of
Spiral.
the sudden you're in this hole. You just missed four shots. You forgot to take a timeout. You're in the hole. You don't even remember that your partner is there. You're just like in your own head.
Right. Right.
My fastest way, what I say, is to step out of your head into into the world is through your feet. So
Hmm.
you see me bouncing around a lot. I'm bouncing around. I'm bouncing around between points, maybe after misses or after good points. It's you just establish a routine that helps you kind of stay level-headed, whether it's a good point or a bad point. Like you're bouncing around, you're moving your feet. If you're moving your feet, your good things will happen. If you start going downhill a little bit mentally, a lot of times you start sort of like, I don't want to say being sloppy with the footwork, but you carry that tension into your body and some things just tighten up.
It's so
So,
true. The footwork is so foundational, and it's amazing how quick the footwork goes when you are nervous. So I
yeah,
think that's a great tip is like bring it back to the feet, bring it
yeah,
back to the legs, the bounciness, the
yeah.
split stepping, the bending, and that I have found in matches when I sort of bring my focus back to that, the
Hmm.
rest follows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think another big thing for me, like, I don't know, competing is just, don't forget, like, especially if you're playing doubles, you're there with your partner. So it's like, talking to your partner, you can tell them before the match, it's like, hey, this is what I need, like during the match. And just kind of, it's like every partnership feels like a mini relationship almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's true.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I wanted to ask you about that partnerships.
Hmm.
Because yeah, if you're in a like take the worst case scenario, you're on the court with, just a tough situation and you're starting to implode on the inside.
Hmm.
You really need your partner to witness that and to be with you and to help lift you up.
For sure.
Um, how do you, how has it been, first of all, like on the pro tour with getting partners? I know personally, I'm not on the pro tour, but it's tough finding partners. You're looking for all the things that, give good chemistry with you that will be a good partnership for you.
Hmm.
Um, and what do you look for in a partner?
I think positive mindset, ability to make balls under pressure. That sounds kind of basic, but and
Hmm.
somebody that fits your game style.
Hmm.
Maybe you have certain strengths and you want a partner to complement you, or I don't know, play a certain side of the court better, or just see how you would mesh character wise.
Hmm.
And I think it's really hard to jump from partner to partner. I kind of did that a little bit of the beginning of the year, so it's really hard to build. Last year and the year before, I was kind of like just lucked out into the situation where I played with Lane Sleeth a couple years ago on the Brooklyn Aces. She was really new. I helped mentor her and brought her up in a way. And then we were able to play the PPAs together. And then we got kind of together back on the MLP team and the Black Bear. So then we played together again. And then we played more on the PPAs together. So that was honestly just kind of a really cool, like, growth opportunity with her. I just love like having a consistent partner.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She's
Yeah.
now coming back from her hip surgery, so I'm looking forward to kind of like seeing her back on the courts. And then for mixed doubles, I played with a lot of lefties. I liked my left side of the court, but then, trained more obviously both sides. But it's just, I think in mixed doubles, especially, it's you want the guy, I don't want to say you want the guy to have a certain ego, but they have to have some confidence.
Yeah.
Because if the guy has sort of no ego, no confidence, it's going to be really hard because the mixed pro doubles are just tough. Obviously, it's like, what do people strategize? Oh, like how to put the most pressure on the girl somehow. I mean, in the big picture.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe not like that. Okay, you go behind the guy, but it's always like, some kind of strategy. So I feel like just seeing like character traits of like, does that guy have that it factor? Which is
Hmm.
like, well, do they want to, impose and like take these risks because they have to. I mean, if we're playing 50-50 and just kind of thinking like, we'll see if they miss a ball. Well, they won't miss a ball. Let me
Right.
tell
Right.
And
Do you
so
have
has
any?
has
No, go
every
ahead.
partner that you've asked to partner up on a, let's say mixed, because I feel like mixed is a little more nuanced than
Yeah.
women's. Have they all said yes to you? Have you ever had a no?
Oh.
Pretty much a no is if somebody is booked, right?
Okay.
So they're like, no, I'm booked. But then you don't know if they're actually booked or if they.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yes, I've had a no, but I mean, you can tell on the registrations if they're booked or not. And then obviously you can shoot your shot. You know, if you're going to ask maybe a top player and you're going to get a no, but it's fine. You asked, of course,
Yeah.
I like to compare everything to dating. I have a lot of dating analogies because I spent many years as a dating coach. But I do feel like
I might
partner.
need to hire you. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Yes! Oh my God,
yes,
that's
yes.
amazing. That's amazing. I would love that. But partner hunting is a lot like dating.
Mhm.
And you're right. Like sometimes you just have to shoot your shot. So if you get rejected, so what?
Yeah.
Move on. Pull up your big girl panties, move on, ask another person. Um, but yeah, so do you have a consistent mixed partner or have you been kind of dating around?
I've been dating around in the mixed partner world. I played a couple with Zane Navratil at the beginning of this year, and then I played some with Moel Hooney. So just kind of like, and a couple new partners too. John Lucian, like he's a good singles guy. Sometimes like it's hard because you don't know, and like a lot of guys are good, and like there are a lot of young guys who are great in singles, but then you're thinking like, will this transfer into mixed doubles or
Mm,
do
right.
you take a chance and maybe it will and maybe it won't, maybe you'll mesh, maybe you won't. It's just there's so many question marks. So I think maybe for the fall I'm going to try to stick to just more consistent partnership because I think it's really hard to bounce around.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
agree. No, I agree because that has sort of been my experience where you're just sort of bouncing around partner and partner. And there have been some tournaments where a few tournaments where you play with the same person, but I'm sort of starting to feel like I'm kind of over that. It's exhausting. I want to build something with someone.
yeah,
And I do think part of that, though, is giving each other a little bit of grace, right? Committing to a handful of tournaments together and saying, look, even if we don't do well or we have
mhm,
a bad loss in some of these
right,
early on tournaments, it's okay. Let's keep growing together. But I think
yeah,
there's sort of this mentality, well, we didn't there were some good things about us as a team, but these things were off and we didn't do really well, and so I'm just going to go look for bigger, better.
mhm.
So I don't know, Tosh, what do you feel about that? I'm sort of entering this phase in my pickleball life where I'm like, I'd like to just stick with one person for a little while.
Are you asking me to partner with you?
Well, but maybe in senior pro, I'm almost there.
Well, before that, I did want to ask you, Lena, have you ever had to say no to someone? And how do you go about uh saying no? You just say, no,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm booked, even if you're not, or
You say no a lot of times. You say, sorry,
yeah.
no, I'm booked. You say, sorry, no, I'm going to think about it. You say, sorry, no, I haven't thought about the fall season yet. You say, hey, I might need to think some time. And, you know, just you say no all the time. And
Mhm.
most players do because we just kind of everybody
Yes.
wants their shot.
Yes,
Well,
everyone's
Tosh, we were talking with in our recent episode with Anna Bright. We were talking about the phrases that pickleball play when you're asked to partner, and then there's the phrases. Oh, I'm not sure if I'm playing in that, which is basically translation for I don't really want to partner with you. I'm going to look around for someone better. There's like a whole list of different
Yeah,
phrases that you can say when somebody asks you, which is sort of
sure.
hilarious.
For sure. I mean, it's just kind of managing that. And then again, you think about the ranking. So
yeah.
sometimes there's a player who's an up and comer and they're really good. But if you play with them, you're going to be put against number one or two in the first round and you're not going to get any points that tournament. And then you're thinking, is it worth the risk? I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
that's just math. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's just, and you would have to be like excellent together to beat that, and make this huge upset just mathematically.
Right. Well, right. It's sometimes you partner someone when if it's wrong, but if there's a seed of something.
Yeah,
And I think I just for myself, and I would maybe want to encourage the listeners and the viewers to kind of, if you see a seed of something, there's something there, um, whatever it is, you like the way you kind of play together, even though maybe you lose. You like they complement your playing style. You like their mentality, their mindset. You have fun together. Just even if you stick with that person, see where you can go together.
for sure. It's a growth mindset. It's like a relationship, right?
There you go. That's right. That's it.
Yeah. And if you like their character, you can, if they're willing to grow and willing to put in the work, then you can grow together on the courts. People can get better all the time.
Absolutely. Oh, and Tosh, I'll let you jump in, but just quickly, speaking of mixed, before I forget to ask you, before the time runs out, I did see something in 2024 in a
Mhm.
mixed match. There was a controversy with you and I forget who you were playing with. Maybe it was Zane, and you were playing against Andre Diescu and his partner, and you slipped and fell. And
Oh, yeah. I know it went viral
yeah,
somehow.
it went viral. I've been meaning to talk to you about that. And have you buried the hatchet? I guess is a big question.
Absolutely. Like I wouldn't even have thought about it twice if
Okay.
it didn't go viral online.
Right.
I
Right.
was playing with Zane against Andre and Martina Frantova, I think, and it was in Utah. And somehow, I don't know, there was like this, like sometimes the court is slippery. There's like some sort of dust or whatever. It's not rain.
Mm.
And I remember going for a ball and just slipping and just going down. And Andre honestly lightly tapped that ball right at me to
Yeah.
win the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Was I pissed? Yes, but I was pissed because I slipped and fell. And
Oh, okay.
one of the scariest things for an athlete is like to slip, fall, and then you're like, okay, is the ankle intact? Like, are all the joints in place? Like,
Right.
could he have put it somewhere else? Sure, but everybody is athletic. I don't blame him
Yeah.
for that because
Right.
we get balls all the time. Maybe he drops shots, maybe Zane gets it, then I get up, we start playing the point. You have to do what you have to do. Really, no hard feelings. And I think it's kind of silly that people, I don't know. I honestly, I love looking at the comments sometimes. So it's entertaining.
The
Yeah,
comments are either a
that's
blessing
for
or a
sure.
burden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, one more thing to mention about like the mental side of things, and I think about pickleball is if you're looking for a partner, just see if they can problem solve because that's not a given. Um, it's like, okay, let's say your strategy is you're going to drop the third to X spot and then you're going to move to the kitchen and hit these spots. Well, guess what? Third shot drop isn't just you're tight, you can't make it. What are you going to do? Are you going to just like put, kind of wave the white flag and you give up, or you're just going to try to find a way? Maybe you drive the first two, like you would drive the third and the fifth, and then you're going to drop the seventh somehow when you loosen up. It's that mentality. When your plan A isn't working, can you figure out a plan B and scramble under pressure? Are you okay like winning points at the baseline? Like, you know, just stuff like that.
Such a good point. Such a good
Yeah.
point about problem solving. Yeah, for sure.
So I wanted to go into your PPA pro player status a little bit. And what I'm curious about, or what I have been thinking about, was as pickleball becomes more professional,
Mhm.
more contract driven, I want to know what your experience has been like navigating like the business side of the sport of pickleball.
Yeah, I think we've all had our growing pains in a way
Hmm.
because you come in, you don't really know what you're doing. Then you're thinking, is this a good deal? Then you start comparing it to,
Yeah.
the information out there. Then maybe if you're smart enough, you get, a law firm and look at these contracts and clauses and stuff like that. So I think, I've grown a lot. I've made some good decisions. I've made some, maybe I could have made some better decisions, right? But I always live my life as like, if I make a decision, it's my decision and I live by it. So I have nobody else to blame.
Hmm.
So I've kind of partnered with a law firm a little bit. They help me with contract reviews and advice on certain things. You know I think it's good to have somebody in your side, whether you call it agency, law firm, whatever you
Yeah.
want. Just have on your team
Mhm.
as you're going through the sport, and the sport becoming a little bit more worldwide and obviously professional already.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You're
So
you're
were you also a part of the Tour Wars? The
Yeah.
infamous Tour Wars? Yeah, that was insane. I mean, obviously I was seeing it or hearing about it from afar, but I can imagine it was that one tournament that most of you were all at, that everything started to just break, and you probably heard through the grapevine as you were playing,
Yeah.
really trying to
Yeah.
figure everything out.
It was really stressful. I remember every match of that tournament and just like thinking like, do we even show up to play this?
Yeah.
Because yeah, we were given a lot of deadlines under pressure, say, hey, you have to make the decision in X amount of hours. And it's, we're past that.
Yeah. Good.
I'm curious, Lena, you said you're 33, correct?
Mhm.
In terms of longevity in this sport, Where do you see yourself in it? Do you see yourself like for the next 10 years? You have a background in physical therapy, which I'm sure is super helpful for you as you train and as you navigate the physical aspect of being a professional pickle player.
Yeah.
And you do see people like Tina Pisnik, she's 47, still killing it. Susanna Barr does well in the APP. Elise Jones is, I think, upper 30s. Megan Fudge, upper 30s. But they're sort of, I would say, not the norm. Most of the players on the Pro Tour in their teens and even 20s. Where do
Mhm.
you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years as you sort of get into that upper 30 range?
Yeah. I think this question is like, I love this question because I ask other people all the time, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And then I think about it. And if you asked me that 5 years ago and I didn't even know about pickleball, it's like, it's so not reflective of what's going to happen in 5 years because I didn't even know the sport existed. So,
True, true.
I see myself competing while I'm staying healthy, right? Like,
Mhm.
can I guarantee I'm going to stay healthy for X amount of years? No. Will it be a blessing if everything is good for X amount of years? Yes. So, do I want to compete? Sure. Are there opportunities also, kind of around the world? Yes. Do I have a son? Yes. Do I want to be present at his, extracurriculars? Yes. I think for me, it's a lot of like navigation of, kind of identities, like what I want,
Hmm.
what I can do. And we'll just see where it all falls apart, or kind of, I'm in this mindset right now where every situation I see it as a positive. If I can compete for, X amount of years, for the next 5 years, I think it's going to be a blessing and I'll be super grateful. If something were to happen, I have a doctorate in physical therapy. I have an amazing community and it's also a blessing. If
That's
my
well, that's what I was going to say. You have that to fall back on. A lot of people who maybe are teens and in their 20s and they're foregoing college and careers. They're trying to make it on the pro try. That's great. Don't get me wrong, but you have this amazing former career that you could fall back on. You have a degree. I'm also curious, do the other players, knowing that you're a physical therapist, are they constantly coming up to you like, can you work on my arm? Or what should I do for this? Are they asking you
No,
stuff?
we're too busy at tournaments. There would be no time
Yeah.
because, the good thing about the PPA tour is that they always have some kind of like contract physical therapist or an athletic trainer on site. So a lot
Yeah.
of players do have the resources to use them. And then I would say most of the top 10 players kind of have something of their own that they travel with.
Yeah.
So that's also, I think, another thing that you're seeing in like team building, that they're building more support around themselves.
I'm curious. So, as a physical therapist, though, you have a lot of knowledge when it comes to sports and the wear and tear on your body. What's some of your advice for the pickle, just a regular Joe Schmo amateur players out there who are listening to this? Uh, what would be your advice in terms of making your body pickleball ready?
Yeah. I think the regular Joe Schmo who's, not looking to go to the gym 5 days a week for 2 hours, I'm
Yes,
just kidding.
right.
Great marketing, is to put in like, it's like, I don't know, 15 minutes a day. For me, it's like, okay, is your core, by your core, meaning kind of your inner stabilizer. So your deeper inner core. I'm not talking just six pack that you see. It's like, can you hold your side plank? Can you hold the regular plank? Can you do just some regular stability exercises? I think single leg stability, I'm really big on too, meaning, let's say you're standing on one leg, can you do like an RDL, even if it's no weight? It's kind of like a balancing, like a teapot exercise. Because a lot of like, if you're actually running on the pickleball court, I think single leg stability is really important. And for like your ankle stability, your knee stability, your hip stability, and then hip mobility is just like picking your 5 favorite little warm up exercises to do for hip mobility. And you can see a lot of that, like, kind of like 90-90 angles, or, hip circles, or maybe you're on all fours doing some hip work, external rotation. So I think about a lot of like ankles, knees, and hips that you can achieve in single leg stability work.
Yeah.
Even like mini quarter squats or step ups or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the next level, if you're kind of, more active, is like, do you ever train plyometrics? Plyometrics is more jumping
Hmm.
Okay.
outside of the pickleball court because you don't want to rip an Achilles and this and that. So
Hmm.
it's another progression of, learning how to jump and land properly. Most people can't land properly. Not like when I say properly, it's like when you look how they land, and it's like, you hope their knee doesn't buckle or this or that or the
Mhm.
other. So it's, yeah, I just
Right. No,
learned
that's actually that's super helpful. When I go to the gym, I would say I'm working mostly on keeping my legs strong. And
yeah.
so I go through a few of the different machines, but I feel like that those, and I do some stuff for my core, because of like the rotation. But I like your tips. And I'm curious, I never really do upper body stuff.
Mhm.
Do you have any suggestions for upper body for pickleball players?
Mhm. Yes, I would say, scapular, your shoulder blade.
Yes.
And so a lot of the pickleball players, sometimes they start getting like tennis elbow or, wrist issues. And a lot of that, I think of like the whole kinetic chain, right? So first could be technique. Like, are they hitting the ball late? Is the paddle too heavy? Is their technique really wrong and they're hitting behind their body so that they jam up their joints? If that's not the case, then you kind of have to look at the core. And then a lot of like the scapular stability, like your serratus anterior, your lower trap, and how your shoulder blade sits. So then when you're doing blocks, let's say your chest hit the return, you're coming in and you're blocking one-handed, with the back end, is have to have a lot of, I don't say you have to have a lot of strength, but it would be nice for you to have some strength in your shoulder blade muscles
Okay.
there. So that like longevity wise, you don't start getting like rotator cuff issue, because a lot of times we're swinging. It's when you're swinging in tennis and pickleball, you're always like you're swinging and then you decelerate right in the way. So these muscles are kind of have to pull back. So a lot of the rotator cuff stuff happens from imbalances in those scapular muscles.
Okay.
So just working on basic, like if you have, I don't know, a little band here and you go by the wall and like you do little like wall slides this way, or you do, with the TRX at the gym, you
Okay.
can do like some Ys and Ts and stuff like that. And you
Okay.
can modify that with your body weight. So it doesn't have to be that much, but just kind of working on that back. And then, learning how to rotate, accelerate, and decelerate. But if you don't have that stability, like I'm not going to tell somebody, frail who just started playing pickleball, go throw medicine balls around if they don't have that inner core strength yet.
Right, right. Okay, it's a good tip.
So
Yeah.
another thing, I told you how a lot of what you post resonated with me, which is then why I reached out to you. And another piece of, what you share is are your workouts. Not necessarily that you're posting about your workouts, but most notably your Pilates.
Yeah.
And I knew that you also are a physical therapist, had a doctor of physical therapy.
Yeah.
I was a have a certified personal trainer
Mhm.
certification, and then was also a yoga teacher, and have been working out since high school. I'm now 53. So
Congrats. That's
body
awesome.
has always intrigued me,
Mhm.
and I'm always looking for different ways to improve myself. And I'm
Mhm.
noticing that at my age now, it's not as much just about hitting the weights. It is a more comprehensive, like I guess, holistic way of looking at my approach, which includes a lot of things of what you said, a lot of mobility, a lot of rotation work, single leg work,
Mhm.
plyometrics, and then the core. So back to Pilates. I have been taking Pilates and absolutely loving it. It has given me so much more like a feeling of just more stability from my entire core system, which, you
You
know,
can feel it on the court, Tosh. Can you feel like a difference when you're playing now versus before when you weren't doing Pilates?
I do. And I don't, that along with my increased work in mobility exercises that I've been doing, um, I really, really enjoy the class because I'm the kind of person that I wake up and I move my body. Like I'm always doing something, whether it's yoga or mobility or training or running, which I did this morning. So that's kind of my life, but I absolutely love Pilates, and I wish that a lot more people had the opportunity. If you do, I highly recommend getting into a Pilates class.
Hmm, okay.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. What Pilates do you take? Is it at a club that you go to, or
I've tried a bunch of different Pilates, and I think
yeah.
it's, there's a lot of research that kind of shows if the gym is further than a couple miles away from you, you're not going to go. So it's all about convenience. So for
Mm,
me, I try to find something local. When I lived a little bit closer to Dripping Springs, I had this, it's called Club Pilates. It's more of a franchise across the country.
Yes, we have that
And
here.
it's more of a traditional reformer classes. I may have been like the youngest one in the class, to be completely honest, and that was totally fine by me because I could focus on all the things that I needed to focus. Now I moved a little bit more back to Central Austin, more hip. I'm going to pure Pilates. It's high music. It's these mega formers. Everybody's showing up and doing those classes. I look around and I'm like, how are they doing it? You have to be so strong to do it. I can barely do it.
Yeah. I know. I have actually, there is a Pilates, they do the reformers in
Yeah,
our town, and I walk by it all the time, and I keep thinking I should try it, I should try it, and I just
Really? Then you would get your arm working.
that
oh
would be, I
really?
mean,
I don't
Yeah.
think of see, I don't think of Pilates as really
Oh, it's the
arm.
whole body.
body
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It is a
because
lot of core, but it's the whole body.
especially on the reformer, because one of your body parts is sort of moving. So you might be doing a push up, but your legs are on the platform, or like
Mhm.
maybe your legs are on the platform that moves, or the opposite. So you're always stabilizing. You're stabilizing. You're doing, push ups. You're doing planks. You're doing kind of like lat pulls as you're doing some kind of lunge. It's a lot of integrative work, and
I'm
yeah.
thinking that I might need to, because I can hit the crap out of the ball just because of my tennis background, but I have zero upper body strength, Lena. Like I couldn't do a pull-up if you paid me $1 million. I wouldn't be able to get not even one. So I'm intrigued by Pilates for sure.
Don't do it the day before the tournament if you've never done it, because you
Yeah.
might be sore in like random places, I would just
Oh,
Yeah.
say.
okay.
Uh, and I think Pilates is really good for kind of the deeper core stability work. I call it more like injury prevention, almost like longevity.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's good because it's low impact, but you still get resistance through the springs,
Yes.
right? So you're not, but then you might also need some plyometrics and explosive work, but that's like your kind of foundation, and then you build on it. And then you're on the course hitting big counters.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? To be honest, I think counters is one of my weaknesses. So, you know what? Pilates may be the answer for me, building from there. Um, but Lena, we're running out of time, and I do have.
I
Oh,
wanted
go
to go
ahead.
over one more thing.
Okay.
So Lena, I'm on the Champion Series Pickleball League, which used to be called the National Pickleball League, which
Yeah.
has partnered with MLP,
I
Major
love
League
that. Guys,
Pickleball.
which team are you on?
I am on, so you're on the fives and I am on the Atlantic City Aces. So I am hoping secretly and putting the vibes out there to my team that we're going to collab with the fives.
Ooh.
But you will definitely, whatever we end up doing or not doing, you will definitely see me at the, I don't know if it's going to be the playoffs in New York City. I will
Okay.
be
So
there. I went last year
that August.
in August. Yeah, in the summertime. I will be there.
So
So I will
fun.
be watching. Yeah.
Amazing.
Um, so for you, you're in your 30s. You have about 7 years because they also have a 40s league.
I
Do
love
you
that.
see yourself continuing to play? Like,
You know, I don't like, how much do you travel? My first question is like, it just depends on the lifestyle that I'll have at that time. And I'm not
it's a lot less than what you currently are
not
traveling.
25 tournaments per year.
No, 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 no. We have
Maybe I will.
five
Maybe I
to
will. I
six.
don't see myself playing like 25 tournaments a year when I'm
No.
40.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Ooh, yeah, that would be a lot. Okay, selfishly, before we finish our interviews with all our guests with a rapid fire, which is sort of quick questions and kind of just blurt out what your
Okay.
answer is. But selfishly, I have one question. You are tall, you're 6 feet, and you have long arms. I
Mhm.
am 5'3.5", and little, petite. I have found that when I play against women who are tall with long reach, that is
Mhm.
very difficult for me.
Mhm.
Do you have any tip? Because you have to make your dinks perfect, right? Because they're going to flick and take their that you probably I don't know about your game specifically, but those types of players often have a reach game where they're taking balls out of the air and flicking.
Mhm.
And so the dinks have to be perfect. So there's a lot of pressure on that. You can't lob them because they're
Yeah.
tall, right?
Mhm.
And it's hard to go through them because they hold the line really well. You may
Yeah.
be able to like jam them up with speed ups off the bounce, but give me your best tips for beating two women. Mixed is a whole other beast, but two women who are like that.
I say don't hit the same ding twice to them. So when you're kind of longer and taller, and if you're hunting in the kitchen, you're leaning in to look and lean, you want
Yes.
to make the move with your ding. So let's say you hit one ding to this spot, then you go back to the middle. So then they're moving in between. When you're moving this dink and that dink here, it's a little bit harder to be always in that hunting mindset. So even if you miss hit one dink, then and they're a little bit off balance, maybe they won't take the chance to attack you. Does that make sense?
Yes. I
So
love that.
if you don't give them the same pattern, like you're staying cross court, but even in your cross court, don't hit the same spot multiple times because then they start hunting and really looking, and then your one little miss hit is going to be,
Mhm.
an attack.
Oh no, I love that. I love that. I'm just
And then,
thinking I'm thinking about all different scenarios in my head right now. This is great.
yeah, and then it's like what you mentioned, kind of jamming them up. You really have to work on your 1-2 combo. So the first ball, like if you're petite and you're quick on the core, you got to work on your, maybe off the bounce speed ups. Maybe you go one, just jam them up, medium pace, and leave the counters. A lot of times, if you go jam them up and they're swinging hard, the counter is going out, and a lot of people play them, right?
Yes.
So you jam them up, but then work on like 1-2 combos. So it's just being able to be a little bit quicker with your hands, and going, yeah, stay away from the wings. Wings are here, right? So
Wait.
jamming
Mm.
them up in the right target and then redirecting the next ball.
Okay. Fantastic advice.
Those are
Excellent.
great. Yeah,
All
great
right,
tips.
Tosh, should I lead Lena out with some rapid fire? Did you have anything else?
Nothing other than I will be calling you in 7 years, Lena, to ask you if you want
I
to
love
come
it.
play on the Champion Series Pickleball League.
I love it.
Yeah, you know
You
what,
might
Lena?
remember.
I might be calling you in a year when I qualify for senior pro. We can do a split age tournament together.
I love that.
Oh
Where are
man,
you based
yeah,
out
that
of?
would be awesome.
What's that?
Where are you based out of, Neely?
Boston, the Boston area.
Boston.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll
We're
be looking
both in
for
Boston.
Boston.
Keep
Yeah.
it up here. All right. Okay, so rapid fire. All right, I'm going to fire some questions at you and you just blurt out
Okay.
whatever your answer is, okay? Hardest player to speed up against in both women's and men's. Or sorry,
Men,
women's and mixed. Yeah.
mix like Hayden Patriquin, women's Annalie Waters.
Okay. Who is the most intimidating female player?
Um, Anna Bright.
Okay. Who talks the most trash, women and man?
Oh, women. I don't know why I don't even think about women trash talking for some reason. Lynn Jansen.
Okay,
And
I could see that.
and then men, we'll just say Christian Alsham.
Oh, all right. Most underrated skill in pickleball.
Lobbing.
Ooh, okay. One thing rec players need to stop doing immediately.
Running into the ball. They see the ball and they run straight into the ball. I see this all the time. You need to leave space between you and the ball.
Make space, make space. Who is the most underrated player on tour?
I can't even call her underrated anymore. Kiora was underrated a little bit ago, but
Yeah,
she's already broken through. I would say Elsie Hendershot. She's just turned 13. She's going to make big waves. She's already a great player in a couple of years.
amazing. Both of them. Have you
Right.
played against them
Yes.
in singles?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Great
Okay,
players.
what shot is most important in women's pro doubles right now?
I think ability to get to the kitchen with all the cannons
Mm.
and paddles, just still ability to just hit really good thirds and fifths.
Okay, so kitchen arrival percentage is up there. Um,
Yeah.
favorite tournament city?
San Clemente, California.
Oh,
Favorite,
yes. I have never been, but every time I watch, I want to be there watching, like
Mhm.
live. It is beautiful at the Lifetime facility.
That's amazing.
Yeah, beautiful.
favorite cheat meal?
Ooh, cheat meal. Probably some kind of loaded pasta with meatballs.
Oh, that does sound good. All right, a few more here. Best dressed player on tour off the court, not on the court. I'm curious who's got some fashion vibes.
Off the court. I mean, Paris always has some fashion vibes, to be honest. Lane Sleeth is always cute, but more athleisure. I I wonder who's like kind of more feminine looking with I just don't see these players in their non-athletic gear.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. All right. Who is your dream mix partner?
Ooh, dream mix partner. Um, we'll go back to CJ Klinger. I played with him a little bit a couple years ago, but I think he'd be really awesome to play with again.
because he's a lefty and you like the left side. All right. What are some of your favorite cue words or words of affirmation that you like to repeat to yourself during competition?
Just stay in the moment, right here, right now. Move your feet, quick feet. I just talk about the feet to myself all the time.
Yeah, love that. Okay, two more. One word teammates would use to describe you.
Caring.
Oh. All right, final one. What would 12-year-old Lina say about your life now in 5 words or less?
Um, didn't even think that was possible.
Oh, I love that.
Mm.
I love that. All right. Well, with that, we're the show is over. This has been amazing.
Yeah, Lena, thank you so much for joining us today.
Um,
Your story, your energy, and the way you approach both competition and growth is incredibly inspiring. And we're really excited to see what's next for you on and off the court.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. And I hope to connect with you guys in person sometime soon.
Absolutely. No, go
That'd
kill
be
it out
great.
there. We're rooting for you. We're cheering you on.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, take care.
Bye,
Thank
Lena.
All right, bye-bye.